Ladies and gentlemen, just yesterday evening, left-wing talk show host Bill Maher was left absolutely speechless after getting a big-time lesson about Trump's economic policies. You see, most nights, Bill Maher is used to making jokes about how stupid President Trump is while his audience just mind-numbingly claps along. However, last night was a little bit different. You see, last night, Bill Maher had on a guest who actually knew what she was talking about, and let's just say that she taught him a big-time lesson about Trump's tariffs that he won't be forgetting anytime soon. So folks, let's play the clip, then we're going to have a lot to talk about.
The reason people want to go back to the 70s is in the 70s, the largest share of our GDP was in the middle class. And that was not separate from the fact that 25% of our economy was in manufacturing.
Right, the largest share of our GDP
was in the middle class, the biggest chunk, the middle class,
most
people
of
who
what
were
was
middle
produced
income.
came from the middle, and now
Yes.
it comes from what? The rich.
Now, the top 20% controls over 50% of the GDP. Our economy was an upward funnel of wealth, and the largest share, which used to be in manufacturing, which gave a lot of working class people a middle class standard of living, now the largest share is in real estate and finance, meaning that asset-rich Americans are controlling over 50% of the GDP, and they have left the working class out of all of that prosperity that was generated. That manufacturing is still being done. It's just being done in other countries. It is still
For wages we will not work for.
That's exactly right. You're right, Bill. That's what the tariffs are for. They are to make American workers more competitive in the global market. Why are we accepting that there should be a race to the bottom? You know, China, what is its competitive advantage over us? It's that it pays slave wages. Why should we accept that? They're still manufacturing our PPE, our pharmaceuticals, our cars. They're making all that stuff. Trump says there are 5 industries that we cannot have any kind of national security without having a stake in them. Pharmaceuticals, lumber, steel, aluminum, and I forget what the 5th one was. But these are really important that we have a stake in the manufacturing of the things that we need as a nation so that when China decides that it wants to go to war against us, we're not relying on them for steel and aluminum in order to fight them.
Okay, well, at least that's an answer.
Well, at least that's an answer. Folks, Bill Maher had absolutely nothing to say in response. These liberals have gotten so used to sitting inside of their little echo chambers all day in which they smugly look down on the rest of us that they've become completely and totally detached from reality. Because here's the truth, everything that woman said is 100% true. In fact, just last week, the Chinese U.S. Embassy made an official statement saying that they're more than willing to go to war with the United States of America. Yet, if it were up to these crazy Democrats, we'd just keep on relying on China to manufacture all of our essential goods. Does that sound smart to you guys? No, it doesn't. If it were up to the Democrats, we would just keep on outsourcing our manufacturing to China. Meanwhile, they're preparing for war, which puts our national security at huge risk. So folks, all of this isn't just bad economics, it's actually a massive national security risk as well. And so while the Democrats continue on with their willful ignorance, they also refuse to acknowledge the one simple fact that they can't argue against. Trump's tariffs are already working, big time. Trump's tariffs forced Mexico to deploy 10,000 military personnel to secure their side of the U.S.-Mexico border. Trump's tariffs brought in $741 billion in foreign manufacturing investments, with another $700 billion in the pipeline. Trump's tariffs forced Colombia and Venezuela to accept all of their deported citizens. And also, just the other day, it was Trump's tariffs that got Ottawa, Canada to call off their own energy tariffs. So folks, once again, Trump's economic tariff policy is already getting things done big time. But now folks, just yesterday, Vice President J.D. Vance actually weighed in on this ongoing tariff discussion. And trust me, you guys are going to want to hear what he has to say. But before we play that clip, I want to say real quick that if you guys enjoy the daily news coverage, please consider subscribing to the channel because it really does help a ton with my daily struggle against the YouTube algorithm. But all right, folks, take a listen to J.D. Vance.
First of all, I think the president's been very clear. He wants to impose tariffs on foreign importers because he wants to bring investment and jobs back to the United States of America. So what I'd say to those business leaders is I think the president has actually been quite clear about what he wants to accomplish: build more in the United States of America, invest more in the United States of America, raise wages for workers in the United States of America, and you don't have to pay these tariffs at all. There is, as the president has said, a recognition that we have to accept, which is that, look, Joe Biden left this economy in a disaster. He ran the highest peacetime deficits we've ever had in this country. He left us with a significant debt crisis. And the president has come in and said, look, we have to accomplish a lot of things simultaneously. We have to bring down inflation, which I think we're making some good progress on. We have to actually ensure critical government services like Social Security and the military function for the American people. And we also have to force businesses to invest more, not overseas, not in Chinese workers, but in American workers.
And so, folks, there you have it. Here's the reality. President Trump's economic tariff plan has three big goals: to bring manufacturing jobs back to America so that American workers can have high-quality, high-paying jobs right here at home, to stop relying so much on foreign manufacturing in places like China, because putting our economy in the hands of the CCP is not a smart idea, and to use tariffs as leverage in international negotiations, making other countries pull their fair share of the weight. There you have it. It's that simple. It's not complex. And guess what? It's already happening. Right this very second, we're already seeing foreign manufacturing return back to the U.S. Other countries are finally cooperating with us on deportations and border security, and Trump's economic strategy is working. Imagine that. But folks, I have to say, what's absolutely hilarious to watch unfold in real time is how all of these Democrats who are completely detached from reality will sit here and say things like, according to my theoretical economic model, Trump's policies, they're never going to work. Meanwhile, for those of us living back here in reality, we're watching his policies work in real time. So pretty much the strategy of the Democrats right now is to try to convince all of us to not believe our own eyes. They're saying to ignore what you're seeing happen right now in real time on a day-to-day basis, and instead we should all trust their expert economic models. The very same expert economic models, in fact, that said that illegal immigration would be good for our economy, as we all watched wages collapse, by the way. They also said that printing trillions of dollars wouldn't cause inflation, as we all sat there and watched inflation explode. And also, the very same expert economic models that said that globalization was the future, as we all get to sit here and watch China run laps around us. All of these progressives live in a fantasy land, folks. In fact, between you and me, I wouldn't be surprised if 2 years from now, when Trump's economy is booming, these very same people try to say, wow, finally, Joe Biden's economic policies are starting to kick in. And I know you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Every single time the Republicans score a win, the Democrats try to take credit for it. But you know what? Maybe that's just the way things have to go. Maybe all we can do is keep on winning, keep fact-checking these crazy Democrats, and calling them out every single step of the way. Because, folks, as I like to say, America first is inevitable. But now, folks, before we wrap up with today's video, I want to say real quick that I've actually gone ahead and made a community Facebook page where I'll be posting additional news and updates as it relates to all of this stuff. So if you guys use Facebook, check out the pinned comment down below and give that page a follow. But everyone, that is going to be a wrap for this one, so please go down below and drop a comment. Let me know what you think about all of this. Please like the video while you're down there. As I said earlier, please consider subscribing to the channel if you enjoy the daily news updates. Thank you all very much for tuning in today, and of course, as always, stay safe.